What up, everyone, and welcome back to Kanchu Gaming. Today, we're going to try something new. We're going to try a rebuild on Madden NFL 21. Now, we're going to use a real-life roster so we get all the stats that happen throughout the season. And we're going to start from the divisional playoff. And we're going to rebuild the New England Patriots. They have a lot of questions to answer, such as the big one, quarterback. Life after the GOAT, Tom Brady, who is now in, of course, Tampa Bay. So there is a lot of questions that will be answered. We're going to go ahead and before we get into all the details on how we're going to rebuild New England and what the blueprint might be, we're going to go ahead and get into creating our coach. But we'll be more like a GM than a coach. But let's go ahead and do strategists so we get the expert scout package right away. And we're going to go skin tone. We'll do random. That's fine. And we are going to go ahead and use a New England style offensive book, but we are going to change the defensive side. Because we're going to go with a 4-3. And we're going to go with Philadelphia, because I believe Philadelphia has the 5-2 with 5 defensive linemen down. So we use 3 defensive tackles to really just bulk up and stop that run. League type. Minimum roster size, that's all good, that's all good. We do want to increase the gameplay time to 9 minutes. And we're going to put the minimum accelerated play clock to 25. Because the accelerated clock, when it goes down, when you put it to off, it still goes down to like 15-20 seconds. So we put it to minimum, at least we'll have 25 seconds of game clock, which is, you know, the real NFL style anyways. Take off the tutorials. Fill roster. No, we want to do that. Okay. Think we're good there. Alright, let's get into it. Starting the league. We're going to go ahead and get straight into it. So let's check out the roster. Alright, so for quarterback, that is the biggest question. Cam Newton is not the quarterback of the future. It's not going to happen. I don't know how the draft pool is looking out. So I have no idea if there's a quarterback or not. So I guess we will decide. We're going to have to sign Cam Newton, though. Let's look at him first. Like, if we're going to have to re-sign Cam Newton this offseason if we're going to have any type of quarterback. Throw power, deep accuracy. He played so terribly this season. It's so bad. I'm surprised he had an 82.8 passer rating. He only had over 2,500, barely over 2,500 yards passing. That is terrible. Terrible, terrible. 8 passing touchdowns, lowest in the league. 10 pass interceptions. I mean, 10 is not terrible if the passing touchdowns were in the 23-24 range. He was sacked 31 times, but his rushing is where he shined. 137 carries, 592 yards, almost 600 yards. 12 rushing touchdowns, holy moly. So, I mean, I guess we would really have to micromanage that a lot for Cam Newton. Jared Stidham is just not the answer. He isn't the answer. We're not even going to talk about Jared Stidham. We're not even going to... No. James White, I believe he's up on his contract this year. So we might not re-sign him. Rex Burkhead, I believe, is up on his contract as well. Damian Harris and Sony Michel will be the bright spots for the team next year on what we rely on, just like the team did this year. Julian Edelman is age 35. I believe he's about to retire, so we won't have him. Jacoby Myers was a good bright spot for the receiver corps. Marcus Lee's up. Demir Bird is up. N'Keal Harry, at this point, is a bust. He's a bust. First round pick a couple years ago. His first season barely played, injured all year. This season, didn't really have a quarterback to really get him the ball a lot. Let's look at him. He had 33 receptions, 309 yards, and only 2 touchdowns. When he only played in like 3 games last year and had 2 touchdowns. When I think he played in 14 games this year, or 13 games. Still no production though. So, receiver, we need a receiver. Tight end, oh my goodness. Gronkowski, gone the last 2 years, even when Brady was here. Excuse me, I'm writing some stuff down so I keep all this stuff in mind. A tight end. We have no tight end. We had 1 touchdown, maybe 2 touchdowns this season. Devin Asiasi, 2 receptions this year, but 1 was a touchdown. I believe it was on the last game of the season. So tight end is a need. Oh man, 39 yards. My goodness, tight end. Alright, so that's definitely a big need. Dalton Keene, I just want to look at the stats here for us. 16 yards. Oh, this is abysmal. This is just abysmal. Ryan Izzo was actually a bright spot the first 2 or 3 games, and then he got hurt the rest of the season. 199 yards. And he was probably the 1 of 2 touchdowns from last year. I mean, Ryan Izzo was actually kind of the only good thing about the tight end spot for the New England Patriots, but like I said, he was injured for almost all the year, the whole year. He maybe only played 3 or 4 games. And Joe Cardona, he's not even really considered a tight end. He's a long snapper. So we're not even going to look at his stats. Okay, left tackle, Isaiah Wynn. He's a stud when he's healthy. There's one thing that the New England Patriots have going for them, and that is the offensive line. Probably one of the best in the league. Definitely top 5. If Isaiah Wynn can stay healthy, that's a big win for us. Joe Thuney, I know he's up. He's up on contract at the end of this season, and this is someone that we need to sign. This is a big target for us. We have to sign. Didn't allow 0 sacks in 2020. We have to sign Joe Thuney. He is our best offensive lineman. I know the stats, the overall says different that he isn't, but Joe Thuney this season was our best offensive lineman. Center David Andrews, we have to keep this offensive line intact. So we will pay whatever we need to keep David Andrews, because I know he's up at the end of this year too, and Joe Thuney. We have to keep this offensive line intact. It's the strong point for us. Right guard Shaq Mason, wonderful offensive lineman. And then Marcus Cannon actually didn't play all this season, and we might actually end up trading him because he's getting older, and we can use go back here. Let me go back here. We can use Michael. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. Onwenu? We'll just call him Michael. We'll just use his first name. We can use him. Actually, we're going to use him right now. We're going to switch him to right tackle. Because he was lining up, not right in. That would be funny. Where is the right tackle position? Thank you. Yes, save changes. He was lining up at right tackle before he got hurt this season. So we go to right tackle. Why does it keep going to Joe Tooney? We don't want Joe Tooney. Well, we want Joe Tooney, but we don't want to keep clicking on him. Alright, so Michael will be our right tackle. He will develop into a great right tackle. He only has 1 year experience, already a 79 overall. We'll take that. Also, Jermaine Illuminor. We're also going to try to keep him as our backup because he did a good fill-in job when a lot of our offensive line went down this season. Chase Winovich, he is the stud on the offensive line, or defensive line rather, and he is our main guy. He's the guy we got to keep around. He's the guy we got to hurry up and develop and get going. Right in, Dietrich Wise, and both these guys, Lawrence Guy and Dietrich Wise, are both set for expiration on their contracts at the end of the season. So I believe we're going to have to keep one of them. And Dietrich, Lawrence Guy, let's look at his season first of all. He had 57 total tackles, 3 sacks. 57 total tackles, pretty decent. I like that. If we go here to Dietrich, I know he's more of a sack guy. So let's see what he got. He only had 2 sacks though this season. It's terrible. 32 tackles. It looks like Lawrence Guy is the one to keep at this point. Even though he is older, maybe we can give him a 1-year deal, but we'll get there when we get there. We're just assessing the roster right now. Adam Butler, Jesus. Adam Butler. He's a sack guy. He had 6 sacks. He's probably our leader for sacks on the team. Oh, man. And he plays defensive tackle. You know what we could end up doing? Because he is a power rusher. We could move Adam Butler to defensive end. He has 6 sacks. He had 6 sacks last season, too. So we'll think about that. But other than that, we need a defensive tackle. Defensive tackle is a priority. Okay, so tight end, defensive tackle, need to shore up the line. We want to dominate the trenches. This is how I want to build this team, dominating the trenches. Brandon Copeland was injured most of the season. Using Humphrey Jennings is the rookie out of Alabama that we drafted last season. No sacks, didn't get sacks, had 20 total tackles. I know we drafted him in the 3rd or 4th round, and it shows, to be honest. Middle linebacker, Dante Hightower. Dante Hightower. He opted out this season because of COVID. He was not injured. He just opted out. And I know regression's going to hit on him. He's 31, going to be 32 next year. Is he worth signing? Is he worth signing? I really don't think so. I think we're just going to move on. It's time to move on from Dante Hightower. If we're going to do a rebuild, there's no reason to keep him anymore. And Dante Hightower, we'll just have to move on from. I'm already set in my mind that we're probably going to move on from him. Uche, it's probably Use. I think we drafted him in the 3rd round. We drafted him in the 3rd round and Jennings in the 4th. Somewhere around there. He only had 1 sack. Terrible. He is a rookie. I hope this production does increase. We are moving to a 4-3. So I honestly think we might move him to a right end and see what we get, because his stats are finesse, I believe, speed rushing. He is a speed rusher. Let's see. His finesse moves are not that great, though. They're not that great. They're only a 76. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. That's what it is. It's okay. So I forgot that we are going to do a 4-3. So what we might end up doing is we could move Usay to the defensive end position on the right end. We re-sign Lawrence Guy, make him a defensive tackle, and have him and Adam Butler in the middle of our defense, with Chase on the end as well. That could be an option for us. We don't have much depth at the outside linebacker position. That means we would have to get an outside linebacker if we did this. Corner. Okay, so Stephon Gilmore is in a interesting position. J.C. Jackson, I believe, had 7 interceptions, maybe 8. He had 9. He actually had 9 interceptions this season. 9 interceptions. Now, some would say, they didn't want to throw to Stephon Gilmore, so they threw J.C. Jackson's side, and J.C. took advantage of it, and he got 9 interceptions. He had 40 tackles, though. Let's compare it. I know Stephon Gilmore was out for like the last 2 or 3 games, I believe. Let's see. JC had 40. Stephon had 37. Stephon had 1 interception this season. Let's see how many catches he allowed. He had 3 pass deflections. It says he had 0 catches allowed. I don't think that's the case. He definitely had catches allowed. So definitely Madden didn't put the stats in for that. So unfortunately we won't be able to compare that. But what I'm trying to get at, is it time to move on from Stephon Gilmore? Is it time? I believe he only has 1 year left on his contract after we end this season. He has 1 year left. Why not think about a trade? We could think about a trade for Stephon Gilmore. Maybe get a round 2, maybe a round 1, but more than likely a round 2 pick. And see what we can do. And just draft for the future. We're thinking about long haul scenarios. Why not? Why not trade Stephon Gilmore? Look what we have right now. I think J.C. Jackson is at the end of the contract, but if we're able to re-sign him, we, of course, I have to look at the salary cap. I'm just assuming stuff right now, but if we're able to re-sign J.C. Jackson, we have Jonathan Jones. Jason McCourty is either going to retire because his contract is at the end of the year. But we will have J.C. Jackson and Jonathan Jones, assuming we can re-sign J.C. Jackson. That's not bad. That's not bad. Cornerback is definitely a strong, and we can definitely afford to lose Stephon Gilmore. Production for interceptions was 9 from J.C. Jackson. I didn't even look at Jonathan Jones. Let's go back to Jonathan Jones real quick. Jonathan Jones. Jonathan Jones had 2 interceptions, but he had 74 tackles. He was playing the slot most of the time, so he's closer to the line. But still, at New England, we played nickel defense all through pretty much the whole year. Because that was the strong suit, our defensive backs. And Jonathan Jones had 74 tackles. No tackle for losses. That's true. No TFLs. But still, 74 tackles? My goodness. He can tackle. We know he can tackle. Alright, let's go free safety. The aging, the wonderless Devin McCourty. The man who is not getting younger, but shows that he can play in a young man's game. Devin McCourty. My goodness. Let's see the year he had. He had 68 tackles, 2 interceptions, 6 pass deflections, and 1 defensive touchdown. Devin McCourty is still a game changer. But it also gets to that point, he's 34 years old. His contract's up, not this end of the season, but next season. Should we also think about trading him? Because Adrian Phillips is right here, 29. Still has good 3 years left in him. Maybe even 4. And he had an outstanding year. 109 tackles. That was probably the leading tackler on this defense, Adrian Phillips. He had 2 interceptions. My goodness, this man went off. 4 pass deflections. Unfortunately, like I said, Madden doesn't allow the catches allowed. Did not put that in apparently. No defensive touchdowns, but 109. 109 tackles. For a backup, Adrian Phillips. Well, no one's ever really a backup in New England, are they? Patrick opted out. We're going to move on from him because Kyle Duggar is a stud. I repeat that. Kyle Duggar is a stud. In the run support game, he is a stud. Let's go ahead and go to the stats. He had 64 tackles, alright? They didn't play him like they played Adrian Phillips. Alright, but he was on the field and he made the most of his chances. Kyle Duggar is the future of the safety position because Adrian Phillips is temporary the next 2 or 3 years. But Kyle Duggar will remain on this team for a long time. I'll make it that way. He will stay on this team. He's exactly what we need in the run support game to go ahead and fill that void of Patrick leaving. Terrence Brooks, I think his contract's up at the end of the season and we'll move on from him. Kicker position. Nick Folk was actually really good. And really, really good. I can't express how much. He only missed 2 field goals. 2 field goals. And I think that was in the beginning of the year. He was on a 21, 22 straight or something. It was probably more than that. It was probably 24. 24 straight field goals, we're gonna say, and he was just on point. Now, the 3 missed extra points, that's a little concerning, but it is what it is. His longest was from 51 though. That seems like a little short, to be honest. But Nick Folk was great. Justin Rohrwasser, we actually took him in the draft. Do we give him a chance? Do we give Justin Rohrwasser a chance? His kick power is a 93. Oof. Nick Folk's kick power is also a 93 and has 79 kicking accuracy. So I don't know. We're going to try to re-sign Nick Folk. We're going to put Rohrwasser back on the practice squad, more than likely. Jake Bailey, excellent punter. Love it. Draft picks. The most important. We're actually picking number 17. That is still far back in the draft. Still far back. We were 7 and 9. We're not even picking close to the top 10. I thought maybe we get 13. To be honest, but we're picking number 17. Oof. So, we will have an extra pick in this year's draft coming from Dallas. But I'm going to make it... I'm really thinking about just trading Stephon Gilmore to get a round 2 pick at least. Let's go ahead and start advancing. We're going to start advancing and I just want to get to the off season and get going. I'm so excited for this rebuild right now. Alright, so whoa. The Chiefs lost to Cleveland? What? During this recording, today is the Cleveland and Kansas City game, and later tonight, and I'm excited for it. And Madden, in this scenario, has Cleveland winning the Chiefs by 11 at Kansas City. Wow. Last night, the Bills did defeat Baltimore, so that's very accurate. Green Bay did defeat the Rams yesterday. And they're saying the Saints are going to beat the Bucks. Oof. Can the Saints beat the Bucks 3 times this year? We'll see about it. They say it's the hardest thing to do. Alright, we'll send to the next week. And we have it. It's going to be Madden. I don't know what it is with Madden, but they love themselves some Baker Mayfield. Madden, I don't know what it is. But Cleveland will be facing the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl. My goodness. Can Aaron Rodgers finally get another Super Bowl ring? It's been almost 10 years. It's actually been more than 10 years. Can Aaron Rodgers do it? Or can the young buck Baker Mayfield finally prove himself to everyone and overthrow the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers? Woo! 2 brand new second-year head coaches. Woo! That is exciting stuff. Let's go ahead and look at the Pro Bowl. Even though the Pro Bowl is not really happening this year, it's some kind of Madden video game thingy. But Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, Mahomes, Allen, Tannehill will be going at it for the quarterbacks. We got the halfbacks, the running backs, Cook, Kamara, and Montgomery, Henry, Taylor, Jacobs. And we'll just go through this quickly. Hopkins, Diggs round off the top list of the wide receivers. The tight ends are Thomas and Kelsey. Actually got Gronk in there. Oh, TJ Hawkinson does deserve it, by the way. He's a beast. Offensive lineman, Armstead Dawkins. Got Kelsey, Hudson, Jensen, Kelly, Martin, Smith. So, I mean, Donald's in there, even though he was not good against the Packers yesterday. Terrible, terrible performance by him. You know, well, I can talk about that all day, about how Donald keeps... Everyone wants to say he's like the best defensive lineman. The best defensive lineman doesn't get whacked over in the playoffs like he did yesterday. I'm sorry. The best players show up when they need to, and he was nowhere near. Give it, he was injured. He was injured. He was not 100% healthy. Very true. But in the Super Bowl a couple years ago against the Patriots, on that final drive, he was nowhere to be found when Tom Brady led that final drive. Even when up to the field goal to get the field goal, he was nowhere to be found. They ran all over him. But yeah, so we'll just go through this really slowly. Davis, Butler round off the defensive backs, the safeties, Ryan Simmons. And then we got the kicker, Koo. Koo is a stud for the Falcons. My goodness. And then Sanders. And so that'll be the Pro Bowl. Let's go ahead and sim forward. And we will get our first taste of scouting. We're going to just generate the rookies. Importing a local file. I'm not going to do none of that. We're just going to auto-generate. See what we get. Alright, so we already have some players, hold on, let's go back here, already scouted here. So, Chad Maynard from LSU. Early first round pick, probably not going to even get close. That's probably going to be first pick to the Jaguars. Not even going to think about it. Brian Gonzalez. He has good throw power. It's a late first round pick. It could fall to us. Unless the Jets decide to take him. So what we're really looking at here is Brett Meredith. We're going to have to take a look at the combine report and see all that good stuff. Throw power is really good, A+, wonderful. That's what I want in a quarterback. Throw accuracy deep, A-. Do we really need a throw accuracy deep for what I'm trying to put onto the field? Probably not. Throw accuracy short, A-, really good. That's what I want. We're going to play like a West Coast type offense, quick passes, and rely on a power run game. At least for our first season, because we had to rely on our offensive line. Alright, Holden Glenn. Let's go ahead and scout him. Just in case we don't get one of these three quarterbacks. He's undrafted. Not even good. Not even close. We can go ahead and scout Bryce Turner. Undrafted too. So it looks like these field general quarterbacks. And we have strong arm right here. Meadows from Georgia. Round 6. Graded at round 2. I don't know who. Yeah, I don't know. 6th round talent. Graded round 2. That's okay. Halfbacks, running backs. We got Derek Thomas, power back. We don't really need a running back. Maybe someone to replace James White, because I'm just still not sure if I'm going to re-sign him or not. Okay. Okay. Got fullbacks. Okay, wide receiver is a need. I mean, I don't want to spend a lot of money in wide receiver in free agency. I really don't. Do we spend a number 1 pick on a wide receiver? Do we do that? Do we keep Cam Newton and just spend a number 1 pick on a wide receiver? That's the question. Tight end? Possibly. Zach Quincy. Mid first round. He's 6'6", from Notre Dame. Spectacular catch. Catch in traffic. Not bad. The spectacular catch can mean we can put him on the outside in the red zone and go for a goal line fade. That's something to get excited about. Trey Benjamin. He's a possession, 6'6", height. That's actually really good. 6'6" height, and his short route is a B. That ain't bad. Catching traffic. Either one of those two look to be like a good possibility. So I'm gonna go ahead and add them to our draft boards. Okay, offensive line, we're good. We're gonna get our 2 ending contracts and Tooney and Andrews signed, no matter what. Left end, right end. We're gonna go ahead ahead and scout the linebackers first. Miles Hobbs. The linebackers aren't looking that good. John Stecker. We're going to need run stoppers on our outside linebackers. So John Stecker is available for round 3. Round 5. Oh, hello. We found a gem in Ashton Freeman. So, Kevin Kent. Oh, found another one. Back-to-back gems here. So it looks like round 2. Maybe high 60s. Maybe a 70. Maybe. But I'm guessing it's going to be about 68 or 69 for both of these players. Because I believe in this year's Madden, the overall is really low. For round 2 players. It's I think the highest for an early round 2 is a 71. Maybe a 72, but I doubt it's a 72. I think it's a 71. So that means most of these players are going to be anywhere from a 67 to a 71 for round 2. But the real good ones are 68, 69, 70. I keep doing that. Oh, we accidentally just scouted him, so we'll come back and not waste our scouting points and go ahead and scout him. So we'll go ahead and come back to this. We scouted a left outside linebacker the most. Alright, so let's see who's going to win the Super Bowl. The Browns or the Packers? Personally, since man likes the Browns, I'm going to say the Browns. Oh! Aaron Rodgers, ladies and gentlemen, has finally got his second Super Bowl ring after 11, 12 years. My goodness. Can we go back and see that game and how it turned out? Woo! It was explosive. Oh, Green Bay went off in the third quarter, scoring 14. My goodness. 207 rush yards for Green Bay? Wow. What an exciting Super Bowl. There was only one turnover in the whole game. And that was by Cleveland. Cleveland had to do 4 fourth down conversions. Cleveland actually had more time of possession. Give it, they were probably coming back in the end, but ooh. Let's look at the player stats. Aaron Rodgers had 292 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and probably Super Bowl MVP. Baker Mayfield had 326 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. What is the passing completions here? Ooh, they're in the high 60s. Baker had 1 interception, and that was probably the difference. Rushing. Oh my. I lied. Someone get this man the Super Bowl MVP, because Aaron Jones, I guarantee, was the Super Bowl MVP. 15 attempts. 158 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. My goodness, this man went off. Someone pay this man. Nick Chubb, respectable performance, 13 for 66, 1 touchdown. Jamal Williams also had 7 for 40. Wow. Allen Lazard has come into his own in Green Bay, it looks like, for this Super Bowl game. 6 reception, 104 yards, 2 touchdowns. My goodness. Austin Hooper still shows he's a top tight end with this performance. 9 receiving, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not bad. Let's check the defense side of things. Let's see who had the most sacks. Zadarius Smith had 1. Barnes had another. Came in on half a sack. Cleveland didn't get to Aaron Rodgers at all. Who had the interception? Adrian Amos. So it looks like an entertaining Super Bowl happened. Alright guys, let's first of all, let's go with my coach, do the schemes really quick. We are going to go to a base 4-3. What's 4-3? 4-3 under scheme for more flexibility than the base 4-3. You can change to 3-4 or 5-2. We're actually going to go to a 4-3 under then. Even though the base 4-3 is kind of what we're more looking for. Four three under does slot, and we don't really do slot. We're gonna just stick with the base 4-3. And we are not. We're gonna go West Coast power run. I always usually run this type of offense anytime I'm rebuilding a franchise. Focus on the run more. But we will not be doing an improviser quarterback. That's not something I want. We want a field general quarterback, someone with good short accuracy to get these slant routes going. Alright, so we have the philosophy set. We went over the roster. Players ready to negotiate. We have 32 players ready to be signed. So, before we end the video, because this was just an introduction into this series, rebuilding the New England Patriots, we went over the roster, we saw some stats, we'll get more in-depth in terms of our depth on the roster in our next video, because we have some big decisions to make. Defensive tackle, outside linebacker, quarterback. We cannot forget about the quarterback. You know, we have a lot to think about in this rebuild of the New England Patriots. But thanks for tuning in for part 1. Part 2 will be coming up very soon. Well, we will take care of the offseason and probably even go through some preseason gameplay. Thank you everyone, and I hope to see you guys next time.